Hey everyone, it's Birth of a Yoga, and I'm here in this my review for Heads of State, the new film directed by Elia Naishuller, and starring Idris Elba, John Cena, and also Priyanka Chopra Jonas in lead roles. Now, Heads of State is another one of those streaming movies which has a big cast, a big budget, a really bad poster. I don't know why all these streaming movies have just bad posters in general. I really don't know why, but whatever. That's another story for another day. And the premise seems pretty entertaining and pretty promising. It's a very simple premise. There are two different individuals who are differing in the spectrum of personalities. One happens to be the President of the United States. The other happens to be the Prime Minister of the UK, played respectively by John Cena and Idris Elba. And, they're bickering, they're fighting, not physically fighting, but, mental and verbal warfare pretty much. And then something happens where this over-the-top situation puts them together. They have to make bygones be bygones, and they end up being friends by the end of the movie. And it's, one of those movies where, enemies become friends, and with action sequences along the way. Again, the premise should have been entertaining, but ends up being not. Now, the director of this film, Elia Naishuller, directed Nobody, which was one of my favorite films of that respective year. It was pretty much a John Wick prototype film, but it was over-the-top, action-packed, very bloody, and just super entertaining. So when I watched Heads of State, I thought it was going to be the same in terms of the action choreography or the action sequences in terms of how they were shot. Sadly, Heads of State is kind of bland in terms of presenting its action sequences, and, the one-liners and whatnot are just kind of okay. The chemistry between Idris Elba and John Cena is very solid, mind you. They have great chemistry with each other, but it just feels very, very boring. And I feel like if this film had been made, let's say, in the 90s or the early 2000s with, Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone or someone like that, or Bruce Willis, let's say Bruce Willis, it would have been a lot better. But I feel like, again, John Cena and Idris Elba do as much as possible with the script in hand, but sadly, their charisma and their talents cannot push this film to the levels of, let's say, a Nobody. So sadly, I give this film a 6 out of 10. Again, it had some promise. I was kind of excited after watching the trailer, but we're left with a movie that could have been something more interesting and something more, over the top and kind of stupid fun, but it ends up being just a bland movie, which has some moments here and there, but it's not an amazing film to watch overall. You're going to forget this in a couple weeks or so, but it will entertain you for the most part. 6 out of 10.